So remodeled, you can't really tell how old it is, but if you look at the stone chimneys, you can tell a little bit. And there's an outbuilding behind it that's very old. So Valerie, this is Valerie Lavander. And this is the Henderson County History and Heritage class.
Yes, welcome.
And Valerie is the niece of Evelyn Haynes, who actually founded this Huckleberry Mountain Artist Colony. The mother of Evelyn Haynes, for those of you who were on the Back Cave field trip, founded Camp Minnehaha in Back Cave. And then they went through the Great Flood of 1916, and later on they moved out of Back Cave and bought land up here. You tell me if I'm not telling this correctly.
They moved out of the cave.
They moved out of the cave. So I think some of the cabins here were built from logs moved from that original camp, or materials moved from the original camp.
I didn't think so. I don't know really.
Yeah.
But my father designed the cabins.
Yeah.
He was studying architecture.
And his name was Frank Abbott.
Frank Abbott.
Frank Abbott.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in 1939. At first they had a camp here, and then Evelyn decided to turn it into an artist colony. Mm-hmm. So it was a workshop and artist colony, and it began in 1939 and it lasted until 1959. Naturalist Samuel Harper also lives nearby. That's why you've got this Harper Road going through here. Mm-hmm. I'll try to get more information on all this on the web, but he's a very well-known naturalist in this area. But some very famous artists, writers, playwrights, songwriters, watercolorists, actresses, painters would stay here in the summers from all over the United States and stay in these little cabins that we're going to drive through and see. And they would stay here and they would have workshops, they have a dining hall and all these things. So Valerie is going to hand out a little map of the colony to the drivers. If you're a driver, raise your hand. We're moved, and Suzanne, you might be interested in this. Some of them are log cabins from all over western North Carolina. They actually moved the logs and rebuilt them over here. So some of them are very historic.
Well, the Logs of Contentment was brought.
Logs of Contentment.
Yes, that was my aunt's log cabin, two-story log cabin, and it's supposed to be the oldest in Henderson County. It was brought over from another part of the county.
Right.
And by my grandmother. And I'd like to say a little bit about Abbotsford here. My grandmother, my great-grandmother lived there, and that's where I would stay on their back porch when I came as a child and a teenager. And there was a secret stairwell to the left of the living room, and I just found that. You know, I was an inquisitive child, and there was an opening in the paneling, and I went up those steps, and I can't remember whether I just went up to the second floor or if it went to the attic. But when they remodeled the place, they took that out to make a larger living room, which is not too bad. And but up in the attic, one time, I found a hoop skirt. It was a part hoop skirt, and my great grandmother used to sit on a swing out in the front, and so she told me how to sit in a hoop skirt. And so I had a chance to learn some interesting things from my great-grandmother. And so we're going to be walking.
Can folks go to your cabin first and then?
Yes, that's what we're going to do. And please be very careful as you walk, because the ground is hard and it's lumpy, and I don't want anybody to turn an ankle. But and then my cabin is very small. My dad built it in 10 days. He was a contractor down in Florida, and he came up for 10 days to build the cabin, and my mother and I stayed there. My mother was studying painting, and I was an aspiring writer, and so I was taking classes over at Huckleberry when I was 13. I took poetry from the Poet Laureate of Florida, Vivian Eisen Larimore
Yeah,
later.
she was here. She came up every summer.
Yes, and then I later on I took a short story and all kinds of writing, and I had great aspirations. Finally, I did work for a newspaper, a couple of newspapers, and I won 3 awards, tri-state awards. But anyway,
There's a little booklet that she wrote on the Huckleberry Mountain Artist Colony. How much is it?
It's $5.
$5. If anyone's
And-
interested in that, it's up in the cap.
And there is a map of Western North Carolina that my stepmother, who was a fine artist, designed, and you can have the map free if you buy a book. So I have lots and lots of maps in the basement.
Let's walk up this way now. That's that old building I was telling you about earlier.
Does look like it's built house.
Yeah, I've had it really, actually, still same.
Cool old house.
See it taken off and
This is so pretty just here on the porch.
The bathroom has a step down.
Oh, thank
So I just want to warn you.
yeah. Looks like only one of them is now still standing. I believe that's the painting studio because she's got weaving studio area before it on the mound.
Okay.
This is the dining hall, or was the dining hall.
Up here on the right was the dining hall.
Yeah, this is the dining hall.
Okay.
And she got permission from these folks to turn around in the driveway.
That's good.
There's a row of mailboxes over there, so there's more, I guess, up the hill there and tucked in the woods.
So that was the dining hall. Home. Miss Wilkinson was a music teacher in Henderson County for many, many years. I believe that's her house.
Nice location. Look at that
Nice,
view.
yes.
Wow.
Nice size house, too.
Yes, it is.
Compared to Valerie's own,
Mm-hmm.
established 1937.
I love that old white pine siding. That's just beautiful. I always have loved that. It just says mountains.